All right, folks, good evening. Welcome one and all to another date on the Journalist Hangout Show. I'm Citizen Jones. Now, today on the program, bandits kidnapped more than 300 female students in Zamfara Girls' School. President Buhari rules out amnesty for bandits, terrorists, just as Boko Haram abducts dozens on Maiduguri-Damaturu Highway. And later on, we'll share this with you. Federal government plans 30 grazing reserves to solve farmers' herdsmen crisis. I'm hanging out with Cyril Abaku. Cyril, I greet you.
Thank you,
Haven't
Citizen.
seen you in a while.
Yeah, but I'm glad to be here. Happy New Year.
Happy survival too. Asoko James is here. I greet you too.
Of course.
Yeah. All right. So the team is ready. I hope you are. All right, then let's get going. You know, in a seeming merry-go-round offensive against insurgency and brigands, or brigandage, if you like, we have decidedly been beaten once too many times. From the Chibok girls' abduction of April 14, 2014, through to this moment, kidnappers have slapped us audaciously without let. Now, the latest setting is the town of Jangebe, I hope that's correct, in northwest Zamfara state, where as many as 300 girls at the government girls' secondary school there have been ferried into abduction by armed bandits. This is the second such kidnapping in over a week in Nigeria's northern region. Gentlemen, we know there's a thin line between freedom and captivity and between laughter and pain. Cyril, rather.
Certainly not a day to laugh. It's not a day to laugh, certainly. We already find ourselves in a season that is, that does not let you laugh so easily, and then this is happening. The fact is that, like the French people say, the more things appear to change, the more they certainly
remain the same.
Terribly, wickedly, callously, you can use all the adjectives you want to use, but they remain so shamefully and they remain disappointingly the same. So there is, I don't think that we're going to be able to write any new paragraph, any new clause, any new scene into this act, into this drama. You call it a merry-go-round. Perhaps it's bigger than that, perhaps that's what it is, but the fact is that nothing has changed. Nothing looks certain to change, at least with regard to the national crisis we now have on our hands that is unraveling, from Kankara to Kagara to now to this place and so on. We had one in Chibok, we had one in Dapchi, like that. It doesn't look to me that with each passing incident, we learn a lesson that we apply in the next. It doesn't look so. Now, the fact is that when we even say...
But a lesson is taught each time.
Of course, a lesson is always taught. It's for you to catch it. I mean, if you know what I'm talking about. Now, the fact is that when we even use the loose word bandits, nobody knows who these people are. If the reports we had about 2 hours ago are anything to go by, I think Sheikh Gumi was even saying that these people in Zamfara are not the ones he has been, he's been going to meet. So when we even, and I think only 24 hours before, I think yesterday or the day before, we heard that the governor had received some 300 repentance. So if you
he's still receiving up to this moment.
So you imagine if you have hundreds of bandits surrendering, and you have bandits who are equipped, have the numbers, have the intelligence, have the resources, the logistics, the capacity to abduct up to as much as hundreds of students again. So you begin to think about that, you begin to imagine. It means that what we are having is just a case of motion without any iota of movement. And I want to, for me, very sincerely, nobody should be deceived, because as it is, much as I abhor the option of amnesty and paying them to, the fact is that we don't even have any strategy right now that we can say that when we apply this strategy, it is going to bring this problem to an end. It's not there. It's not in the books. The reason we've come to this sorry pass is because, first of all, the Nigerian government either lost, did not have, or willfully jettisoned the policy of being able to provide deterrence. The fact is that if you negotiate with an armed robber, with a thief, You know when people write letters during Christmas, they write letters to Amnesty or to residents and say we are coming on so day.
Yeah.
If that strikes fear into you and you begin to negotiate, the fact is the thief now knows that he has been accorded legitimacy. So if you look at all what we've been discussing in the past 3 months in Nigeria, we have factored in banditry into our national discourse.
Okay.
And so there's a level of dissonance against the evil called banditry. Sadly, the destinies of children are at stake. Sadly, education is under threat. Sadly, Nigeria's profile in insecurity is rising. And I just want to, honestly, I don't know. I hope somebody who has the capacity to effect change is listening and will do what is needed to be done. I honestly don't know.
Yeah. Asuko, these are times that try men's souls. And these are collective souls and so on. Banditry has become a way of life, more or less. And I'm gauging the discordant notes from voices across the country. Some governor favors having a dialogue with them, as he mentioned, and some others will say no in the morning, and then in the evening he changes tunes. And so you're wondering if this is not willful.
The thing is, most governors have find it very difficult to come out openly to most governors. When I mean most governors, I mean even the ones that even met yesterday, castigating another set of governors who are all out to see that Nigeria is united in any way possible. Because most governors also come out to say, to fraternize with these people. Some people are saying, even Sheikh was saying that we should not call them criminals. And then we have a government who heard this and they are not doing anything. Just like Cyril has said, he said something, deterrence. The first one happened in Chibok. They called it Boko Haram. The second one happened in Dapchi. They termed it was by Boko Haram. The one that happened in Kagara or the one that happened in Kankara, are you going to say it was Boko Haram?
Have they got a name?
No, because now we have started getting names. Now you said it was bandits. At least they moved from the northeast and moved to the northwest. And then the nomenclature actually changed from terrorists to bandits.
But do you
now in this set of calling them bandits, I heard or we know that ransom were paid. So if ransom was actually paid, just like we heard, like because there were some arrests that were made and things like that, if that happened, if it happened, that is where the government should have nipped this in the bud, because bandits are like a cartel. If they are in one place, they will definitely tell you, oh boy, I don't collect, now your turn. And that is how it's done. Because nobody arrested the first person. And so the second person will do it and he will get away with it.
A poorly produced home video would still excite the same, the same reaction.
Of course. It's either it's going to excite you or will make you cry.
Incite you, yeah.
Or will incite you. So because the government has left this issue about, we have bandit, we have secured or we are negotiating or we have secured the release of our boys from these bandits and no arrest was made, another set of people or another set of bandits and criminals will always want to do it because they believe that the negotiation will come to them.
Cyril, let's go there. Some states, including Kebbi State, not too long ago, have criminalized kidnapping to the extent of making it a capital punishment to attract the capital, a capital offense. Well, Zamfara is next to Kebbi.
No, this is the thing, citizen.
Okay. Otherwise, my state, Akwa Ibom, had criminalized kidnapping. I don't know about your Rivers, which is a neighbor, and so on. So who is saying what here?
No, this is the thing. Let me start by telling you this. You said it has been a long time.
Oh yeah.
To be very honest with you, I came to a crossroads and told myself that it wasn't really worth the effort. I'm sorry. Then days later, Professor Shoyinka came out and said he wanted to keep his sanity. I said, oh, I'm in good company after all.
Okay.
Now, this is the point. People, the Nigerian state is a state where people realize that the law has no meaning except when you want to apply it to the poor or to those who have no connections in high places.
Yeah.
It's very write your law in
Greek,
Roman, yeah,
whatever.
What there are those who know, they can always get their way around things.
Yeah.
Now, did the governor come out and shout the other day that the federal government had abandoned him? Did that really happen? Did the governor come and cry out and say that? That's one. Number two is the fact that at a point, the Zamfara state government appeared to have made some progress with bandits.
So what happened?
Yes. You remember that when that happened, the governor of Osun State ran to Abuja when Burate was still chief of army staff, 2019, and said that the bandits who left Zamfara are now in, because Osun State also has gold in Ilesha. There are gold deposits in Ilesha. Yeah. So he said, COS, please come to my rescue. You see, the fact is that at a time when we have the army deployed in more than 2/3 of the states in the country, at a time when we have this crisis on our hands, the whole nation has turned its attention from Katsina to Niger. Then suddenly Zamfara became a blind spot. How are they beginning to regroup? How are they beginning to? And so there are many, you will have many more questions than answers, and that is why we don't even understand that when we fail to provide deterrence, and we are looking at a people who have no cause, who have no real agenda, they are not fighting for anything, who have no real base for what they are doing. When we begin to say that, let us grant amnesty and let us pay ransom, as we have been doing.
That's our next story.
What you're doing? Don't
preempt that story.
Fine.
But let's look at this thing on the surface. Now, like this, we go the day. If you understand that crazy song.
Of course, I do. But I think that something has happened to our sociology as a nation. Okay. I think we have become used to the fact that now like that will go the day.
Okay.
We have sorely become used to that fact. And I don't know the sort of injection we can be given to awaken us from that deep slumber.
Asoko, the issue or question, if you like, of state policing and so on will be an interminable one. We'll discuss that until the next century. Because it is the business of police to internally secure lives and property, pick up intel, and now the military is having to usurp that function. That's a bad signal.
The thing is, don't forget that the morale of the police is even very low at this period. So even if you want to recruit and you keep recruiting, it will be very difficult for you to get the numbers that would...
There was a recruitment announced the other time, not too long ago.
Yeah, not so long, but it's not enough. When once you say you have almost 20 million Nigerians and you are recruiting only 10,000 police officers, it's just like a drop in the ocean. Because, well, these places that we are talking of, from the state capital to these places, it can take you almost 2-3 hours.
I hear so. They land.
And when you are going, you are not seeing any house there. What you will be seeing will be the trees around. So even if you set up a police post very close to any of the communities, it means that even if anything is happening inside, they might not even know.
Yeah.
Except they are very close to these schools.
Look at the footage.
You can see.
These abductors, we are told, will come on motorcycles.
Yes.
And
they will drive miles.
They have time on their hands.
Yes.
To play around with.
Even the one that happened in Katsina, they took time. 2 hours they were there, they match everybody, and that was the same thing. This one they took bus, waited for the girls to enter, and then they drove out. And this thing has been happening. Even if you have all the police posts, if you have the police, are they well equipped? What of the welfare of the police? Because we've been talking about state police. Even if you get the state police, will the state governors be able to remove money and give the police officer and say, your salary, nothing will happen to it, your family, nothing will, in case anything happens to you, will they be insured? Because that is, there are so many people who want to be police officers.
Yeah.
But if their welfare will not be taken care of.
If the police they are seeing today, the police are going to join.
That is it.
Nobody
will want to join the police
force.
Okay.
Nobody.
Citizen Jones, let me just add this. I personally wouldn't come under the illusion that policy advisors don't know what to do. If they don't know what to do, they should go back and...
They have not declared that.
By the action.
Okay.
By the action. They could go back and dust off
that's deductive reasoning, of course.
And, you know...
And you have no right to think for that, but go on.
But the assumption helps my, you know, my argument now. So the fact is this, we could go back to the Safe Schools Initiative. You don't even... I mean, and I say this as some sort of surplus thing to be said, not because they don't know what they should be doing.
Yeah.
You don't have to have policemen station. All what you need to do is to have people, contact persons in those schools. Then have a response time mechanism.
Yeah.
Response time mechanism. We have seen the pattern of the abductors. It is the same. They want to come and abduct hundreds, abduct a number that to make sensation, national sensation, make international news, strike fear into the state and so on.
So this was 317.
Good. So what do you do? Even if you recruited 1,000 policemen, the simple thing is that there should be people stationed in those places who will simply give the signal, and then you need to have a very quick response time. That's what you do.
Yeah.
This is a strategy that is used even during war. How much more when in peacetime? So this is the challenge. Do we want to deal with banditry? Citizen Jones, an enemy that cannot unite Nigerians, you know, I'm afraid that this is even bigger than what we think it is. An enemy.
Note that phrase. An enemy that cannot unite Nigerians.
No, of course. Because it is a very, because if you look at it, even when they are saying amnesty, even Nigerians now need amnesty. Because from the bandits.
from poverty.
You know, they need amnesty too. Because if you look at it, people are even afraid to go out. The last time I tried to travel, I was just praying that nothing happens.
Yeah.
He knows.
Okay.
Because I was just going to Akure, I was just praying that nothing happens.
You hold anointing oil.
No be smart thing. You know, because nobody knows where they will come out from. The Southwest governors have been shouting and shouting. Now the Northern governors are saying they should guard their utterances. And we don't need that for now.
You know, it's only natural. Well, let's continue in this deductive reasoning spree. Do you think these governors are happy with what's happening?
No, they are not happy, because there is no governor that will be happy that his state is under fire. Look at what the Niger State governor is saying. He's saying that the federal government has abandoned him. Don't forget. Don't forget that he even complained. He complained that he bought drones that would move around and help in trying to curb this insecurity in the state. But he was having bureaucratic bottlenecks, you know, to the challenge of trying to get those drones to start working.
Okay.
So if you look at it, those two, they are not also happy. Because even the security vote that they used to use for other things, you know, they are now using it to try and see how they can secure their states.
Yeah. And you talk about security votes, Cyril and Asukwa. I got told by a colleague at this hangout that in so many states, money is actually voted to buy stuff for boys. Make I spell stuff?
No,
but you understand. Okay, so we'll go to our next story, but just before we do that, it needs repeating that there's a thin line between freedom and captivity and between laughter and pain. So we are in dire straits.
Yeah.
Okay, to our next story. An amnesty or clemency is an official pardon for people or felons who have been convicted of political offenses or illegal acts against the state. A thoroughly peeved President Muhammadu Buhari has ruled out the question, or if you like, possibility of granting amnesty to bandits, kidnappers, and insurgents in the country. The Commander-in-Chief made the proclamation while declaring open a joint security meeting of northern state governors, traditional rulers, and Kaduna State delegation at the seat of power in Abuja on Thursday. You know, the clemency was a position canvassed by Zamfara State Governor Bello Matawale and Islamic cleric Ahmed Gumi. So let's go there.
Yeah.
Amnesty for felons, for brigands. And so on.
Amnesty should not come at all.
A brigand is a brigand is a brigand.
Yes.
A kidnapper is a kidnapper is a kidnapper.
Yes. Forget about that the person has repented.
They say they put them powder for face.
No, no. See, provided you know that this person is a kidnapper is a kidnapper. And that is how it's. But no matter what Sheikh Gumi will say, it can't change the fact that they are criminals. He was saying that they are youths, so we shouldn't call, so we should change what kind of nomenclature do you want to? Because what he was trying to say.
Can we rub this in? That it has been said officially that most, if not all of these guys are cross-country gangsters. So foreigners will come here at will, cause palaba, and you give them amnesty.
That is it. We can't be giving criminals amnesty, because he was even trying to situate it with what happened in the Niger Delta, and everybody knows what happened in the Niger Delta. But this one, what is their own? What are they fighting for? Why are they kidnapping people? Why are they kidnapping people? Because if you are kidnapping people because you don't have good clean water, and you do not have good rules, it's understandable. Somebody can now say, okay, fine, give them amnesty. But even the so-called amnesty that they are even talking about, because I remember when the Niger Deltans, they were shouting about amnesty, they gave them amnesty, they gave them NDDC, they gave them everything.
The Minister of Niger Delta.
Even the Minister of Niger. Thank God, even now, the Northeast Development Commission is there. So they shouldn't say there's nothing that would, that would even...
Would you say the amnesty granted the Niger Delta militants solved anything?
It didn't solve anything.
Okay.
And it has not. Because even at that, if you still pass the East-West Road, it's still bad.
You hear say the amnesty also.
It's still bad. Even inside the amnesty thing,
they chop.
People are still putting their hands inside and dramatizing
those choppers also need amnesty.
No, of course, because see, the thing is, let's not even go to a Niger Delta. For this, it is even annoying that somebody would even suggest amnesty for kidnappers. It is just unthinkable that somebody will wake up and begin to say somebody who took a family, that even that family, the trauma they would have gone through, because these children now, the family will not be able to sleep from now till whatever day. Not to talk of the ones in Niger State, that they are even saying that they are hungry and they can, because you have 300 children to feed. How will you feed them? You that you are also looking for money to even help yourself as a kidnapper.
And they are girls.
And they are girls.
We'll come back to...
And they are girls.
When I come back to you, we'll talk about the audacious nature of these kidnappers. But please, let me take you quickly to Katsina State. The governor there, Masari Bello, granted amnesty to kidnappers, you remember? And they came in the open, and you had handshakes and so on. After a while, they went back.
No, what we've not even asked ourselves is, all the states so affected right now have granted amnesty in times past. What came of those amnesties? That is one. Katsina granted, Zamfara granted. You can keep counting. Even the governor of Kaduna said he actually paid money. Now, if you look at what is happening very clearly, besides the herders farmers clashes in the southwest, even the issue of bandits is beginning to, of course, that was where it originated from in the first place, but it is beginning to look like the opinion of the south versus the opinion of the north. And you know that there is this thing we call the national question. Very often there is this issue they call the national question. The Nigerian state, the citizen versus the indigenous, religion and so things like that. And that's where we're going. We have a matter of this kind that has made our country so rank among the most insecure nations in the world. If you look at the commentary, you look at the narrative, it is looking like our opinion versus theirs.
Let me pause it there. I hear we must go on a commercial break. We'll take that now and return. Please don't go away. All right, welcome back. Our second story had to do with the amnesty or clemency canvassed by some governors in the north. Mr. President had said no to any such arrangement. And the commander-in-chief was
astute in
saying, he laid the cards bare on the table, and so there was no argument.
But I hope that this won't be an initial opinion or an initial position. No, the fact is that we must read this thing for what it is. Citizen Jones, I'm not a historian, but I know a little about Nigerian history to realize. Let me even tell you this. What we are seeing today, farmers, herders clashes, the waterways bill that was sent, the executive bill, the waterways bill, the PIB, this version of the PIB, along with what we're even seeing in banditry. It is simple. This is what it is. Let me tell you what it is. What the elite has failed to do is what the commoners are now doing. What you're seeing happening today, those are Sunday Igboho. What he's doing is not. It is a constitutional conference. It is what we have failed to do. He is attempting to define and draw the line between an indigene and a citizen. And this is not whether what he's doing is right or wrong. I'm not even going there yet. But he is saying that even if you have lived in this place for more than 50 years, you're not a part of us. Now, so this is the issue.
Are you saying the Constitution is silent on this?
These are the issues we should sit down to talk about as a nation.
Citizenship, settlership, and
of course,
indigenship.
Those are the things we should be discussing these issues. If we don't discuss them, it will be difficult for us to determine who has access to what resource.
So what are your senators, his own and mine, doing at the National Assembly?
Now, how come the discussions about farmer herder clashes have not led us to this point where we are talking about senators? That's why I said that there is a poverty of intellectual opinion in what is going on. The national discourse.
And I insist it is what Engels and Karl Marx referred to when they talked about class warfare. That's what we are going to.
Let's not even go to dialectics right now.
No.
Yes.
I just rub an in.
No, of course. And so the fact is, if you look at during the NSAS, I told a few friends, I said, NSAS is beautiful, but these young people are also they are not just fighting to avert police insecurity. What they're fighting for, nobody was even talking about state police at that time.
Yeah.
And state police has even become like the chief item on the list of people who are fighting for restructuring. So the fact is, the earlier we sat down to discuss, the governors are bickering, maybe in quote, not versus, because a governor who should be protecting his people is being, they refer to him as chief security officer of the state, but he does not command the police, he does not command the army, he does not command the navy. If you ask me, Asoko, quite honestly speaking, I may not put state police as the first item on the list of restructuring, but the fact is it must be there eventually. So why are we so deficient of good opinion even in this matter? People are just taking one-line sentences from governors and from people, and then they're shouting about it.
It is simply because we always talk about freedom of speech. Nobody's talking about freedom of thought.
Can I chip something in just now? Journalists going to cover this event in Zamfara were attacked earlier today.
They were attacked.
Yeah.
They were attacked on their way. If even the purveyors of free opinion and free speech come under attack, it may look very silly to say, but the fact is that where we are under attack, democracy is also under attack.
All right. Let's quickly take Femi. He's here. Femi is here in Lagos. Good evening, Femi. Welcome.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
Yeah. We have a book called
Did I get that?
Have we explained that very well? Number two, we know that the existing in our security.
Move away from your TV, please.
I'm not even near the TV at all.
Okay, but I'm experiencing a holdback. Yeah.
There's still a missing link in our security architecture, which is the state doesn't have anything in their hand now to at least secure their. We have to sit down properly and think of how to be done. We should not get ourselves boggled down. What we call idea that
the line is breaking.
We can.
Femi, yeah, but are we able to tailor what he has said?
No, he said something about state police or something.
Okay.
So, citizen, if just another my thought, we need an enrichment of the discourse. we need to understand what the core issues are. Nigeria is a country where just look at this. What sort of marriage is it when you wake up and discuss primary issues every day? You know, every day we discuss the same issues. Somebody was pointing out to us that the same issues that Nzogu raised in his school speech in 66 are still the same issues we're discussing and debating today.
They say school speeches in Nigeria now copy paste.
Of course,
that is what we are doing.
You know,
no, it's Cyril. The thing is, I think what we are experiencing today, especially in the north, is long years of neglect. You know, of the
neglect of who by who?
No, the neglect of the poor by the rich.
Okay.
You understand? Because if you look at it, most of those who are now taking arms against the state are the people who they refuse to send to school.
Okay.
Most of them. Those are the Almajirais that we are talking of those days that we used to say, they are the ones begging and all that. And these are the same set of people when they are growing up, they didn't go to school, they are not lettered, nothing, nowhere to go to. It's either they go to farming or the politicians use them for their purpose.
So
and at the end of the day, after politics, how do they survive? Some who are into farming are already having issues with the criminal elements.
I just mentioned class warfare a while back. Maybe it didn't register. You remember the erstwhile, the last but two central bank governors, Lamido, His Highness Lamido, lampooned the northern elite. And what did he get back? Attacks from all over.
He lost his throne.
He lost completely.
So was he, at that point, rich man, they quarrel with rich man?
No. The thing is, it's just like what Lamido did was trying to reveal the secret, the age-long secret of what we have refused to address. You know, and that is where the likes of El-Rufai, Governor El-Rufai, is trying to bridge by insisting that everybody must go to school.
We have company. Baba is reaching us from Abuja. Baba, I greet you. Welcome.
Yes, I followed your program. I just called to commend you for what you are doing. I follow all the issues you have raised.
Thank you, sir.
And commend you for taking up this particular all-important issue.
Thank you, sir.
Let me start from the last issue that you discussed, which is
Amnesty.
the Amnesty. I think that all over the world, we must understand that
You see, we're having holdbacks because your microphone is facing...
No, I'm not close to the TV.
Okay, all right.
So the point I'm making is that there is even no basis for comparison between the Niger Delta question and what is going on.
Okay.
You know, the point I'm trying to make is that as a nation, we must be very serious. We must take issues of national security very serious.
Okay.
We shouldn't play to the gallery. What is going on as it is today is that we are not focusing on solutions. We are just talking at each other, pointing discussion within the social media space, the media space. Nobody is focusing on the solution. How can somebody compare what is happening now with what happened in the nature data question? There's no basis for comparison. What happened in the nature data is considered by some experts as justified anger.
Okay. Thank you, Baba. Thank you. Need we embellish that? He had made the point.
Because he has made his point. You know, you can't compare that.
There's no basis.
No basis. You know, so because
you are trying the Almajiri question.
The question. Because the thing is, they need to go to school first. If that is what El-Rufai is trying to do. So because the thing is, we are talking about the Nigeria's future. If we have a particular section who have a large population of those who didn't go to school, that is illiterate, and we have another one who are very, very serious about going to school and getting educated, it becomes a problem because it will now turn to the hunted becoming the hunter. You know, and that is where the problem is now.
But aren't you worried that President Jonathan built over 400 Almajiri schools across the north, and nobody
the thing is, were the governors then interested in pushing that policy?
The governors now.
Because if you look at it,
is that most governors, a german question?
Yes, yeah, because look at it now. Most governors in the north are not talking about taking those kids off the streets. They are just building structures. They are building structures.
But you remember, not too long ago, many of those boys were headed into tractors, into long vehicles and just dumped anywhere.
In their different states.
Supposed different states.
Yes. You know, dumping them in there. But you see, the thing is, now that because the northern governors seem to be now more united, it is now that they are even supposed to come and
more united
because of insecurity.
Okay.
Because I think it's just like you're saying. Because of insecurity.
Syria, I want to get it right.
Yes.
More united because they just, all 19 of them had a meeting with Mr. President?
No, they've been having series of meetings.
Okay.
And they seem to be more united when it comes to the issues that concerns the North. Now, they should also be united in trying to take those kids off the streets. That is the first thing. Because, one, if we continue this way, where we have insecurity in the northeast, northwest, and already in the north central, we are already having issues.
Talk about Nigeria generally.
Now, generally,
yeah.
In the south, we'll be having issues. Nigeria as a whole, we have food shortage, and that is where we are having problem. People don't know. Already, we are having issues about foodstuff association saying that they can't bring in their foodstuffs to Lagos. Yeah. Some people are saying that beef will be expensive. If you go to Ketu market, there's no tomato and onion on the king.
I know you are afraid already, but calm down until that happens.
It's going to happen.
He just has to play the host.
Please. Dennis is in Lagos and he has joined us. Dennis, we greet you. Welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Hussein and other members of the panel.
Yes.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, I want to add my voice to the ongoing discussion on insecurity in the country. First of all, I want to say that until every family acknowledge the fact that we have all failed to bring up our children in a way that every member of the family respects the other person, irrespective of class or color or races, we will continue to have this problem. Families have brought up their children in a way that our value system is all about money. Unless you have money, you are nobody. People are ready to do anything to make sure they have money, including kidnapping, armed robbery, banditry, and the rest of them. Secondly, also, I want to put a little blame on the doorstep of journalists. Everybody, journalists. If you look at our headline these days, our reportage has not been objective enough. Up in the Northeast, you call the same crime, you label those who commit crime as terrorists. You go to Northwest, you call them bandits. You come to the South, everybody is a headsman, including the North Central. The same crime committed by different people, with different appellations.
Yeah, except that Dennis, thank you. Not meant to cut you off, but Dennis, everybody is entitled to his opinion, but everybody is not entitled to his facts, because those facts are sacred. We report what we see. All right, we'll take this commercial break, return and take the issue home. Please don't switch off just yet. All right, welcome back. Now, the consensus of opinion from this hangout is no, and a bigger no to clemency or amnesty. All right, sorry. Now, I'm tempted at this stage to side with former British Prime Minister Tony Blair, who declared that sometimes it is better to lose and do the right thing than to win and do the wrong one, end quote. The federal government is sharing a middle course as we speak, in the murderous conflict between herders and farmers across the country. It has mapped out about 30 grazing reserves for implementation of the National Livestock Transformation Plan, NLTP, as a lasting solution to the crisis. The disclosure was made by the Senior Special Assistant, SSA, to the President on Agriculture, Andrew Kwasari. This serial, for want of the right phrase, is desired critical thinking, if you ask me.
Coming very, very late in the day.
Better late
coming when
than
lives,
never.
Coming when lives have been lost. Coming when hate has been, the seed of hate has been sown.
Yeah.
Has been sown. Coming when people have suffered irreparable damage. And I dare say that this is not the solution. It cannot be the solution. It's not the solution. We have, it may hold ground for a while, if indeed. I don't know what the implementation phase would even be when you earmark the land and I want to build a standard ranch to accommodate cattle, the people that will be employed there, and so on and so forth. I remember when the governor of Kano State was announcing that they had built such a ranch in Samsosua Forest or so, where they had even gone as far as acquiring technology for artificial insemination for cattle and stuff like that. They had built quarters where farmers and where herders will live, will stay, and so on. And of course the expansive greenery. The vast where the cattle can feed. The
grazing area.
Yeah, the grazing area. So I don't know what the content of this is. I haven't gone through it, but I'm just looking at it that even if this policy has a gestation period of, let's say, 6 months to 1 year or two.
It's a 10-year period.
A 10-year period. It does. Citizen Jones, what we are dealing with, if we don't understand it, let me remind us that the clashes between farmers and herders is not new in this country. It is not new. It goes back to the colonial times, or if not even earlier. In Jos, I don't know what that particular flower is called. It's green and arid, but it has spines or pins on it, something like, Farmers used to plant those things around their farms to prevent cattle from going in. But it appears to me that instead of looking for an organic, natural solution to the crisis, I'll come to that.
Okay.
We are synthesizing and doing what to look like something that should look good. As it is today, there is already very serious hate between people who own farmland. Because let's go back to history. The presidency said at the time that people should not be so emotionally attached to their lands. Do you recall that statement, Citizen Jones? So what we should have been doing first of all, citizen, is to look at this matter from the root cause and to understand that the level of mutual hate, those wounds we must seek healing first of all. We must seek healing. Without dealing with that fundamental issue, we have not addressed the matter. So we must seek healing. I am not oblivious to the fact that there are villages in this country where villagers go to steal cattle at night, kill it, and so on. Where people go and pay installment and say, "Let's give me the cattle," and they disappear and claiming that they're the owners of villages. Can we sincerely and genuinely look into these grievances and see how we can sort this matter out? The real problem with Nigeria is the problem of the fact that, as far as I speak a different language, as far as I have a different culture, as far as I have a different religion, there is already a thin line separating us, and there is mutual discontent, there is hatred. These clashes only came to accentuate it. What do we do to douse the national tension? What can we do to look at the Rwandan example, for instance? I saw a documentary where a lady was married to the guy whose parents killed their own parents, and yet they could live together. What was the magic that was working in Rwanda that cannot be worked here? If cattle are owned if I own cattle, for instance, how can I build a ranch? When, like, say I go to a bank, obtain a loan or something, or raise money, build a ranch, and house my cattle there. It's my business. Other than the fact that government money is good, but so my thinking would be this: whereas we're beginning to think of it from the economic point of view, which is good, a good thing to do. What we must not fail to do is to look at the issues that were causing that big bat and deal with the sociology of our people. We must heal first.
All right.
We should heal first. At least.
Asuko, you know, there's a marked difference between a policy that sounds good and a good sounding policy. He is not enamored. More like saying, I've been disappointed over time, so why must I trust this? What's your, how do you?
I understand where Cyril is going through, or is also going through.
You feel his pain.
Yes, I understand his pain, you know. But the thing is, we should not throw away the baby and the water.
And sometimes with the mama.
Together, you know. I want to say, because this idea, this NLTP, was actually chaired by the vice president. Don't forget, there was a time they wanted to bring Ruga, and everybody kicked against it from left, right, and center, and the president actually scrapped it. So they now came up with this idea, which is to transform livestock, you know, livestock transformation program, which to be a plan, which I think if we give an opportunity to, that is the state government, and the federal government is now saying that they want to put in cash. I have an issue with a couple of things with it, in that everything we want the federal government to do for us. If Nigeria is a federal system, is operating a federal system, we should allow most things, especially agriculture, should go to the state government. But this program, the federal government wants to put 80%, and then the state government wants to put 20% of the funds
as matching grants.
You know, and so, and they are saying that they have well over 400 grazing reserves, and if they are thinking about well over 400 grazing reserves, and they want to build ranches, I want a situation whereby these ranches will be built. It might not be in my state, because I know even in Ekiti, there's a ranch in Ekiti. I know of private individuals who have ranches, and it is actually doing well. So I want us to have a little bit of faith in this particular program, whereby we'll test, or Kanu is also doing something, and they're doing it just like Cyril said. Let's also replicate that in other parts of the country, in the north. And then stop open grazing.
And the migration.
Because that migration and moving cattle from point A to point B is what I don't understand.
Healthy, but honestly, the counter argument is this has been on for hundreds of years.
Yes, but it can't happen again because the world has gone global.
Okay.
The world has gone, because the world has gone global, we should now start thinking of where the world is going to, which is ranching. Put your cattle there, feed the cattle there, do everything, and you will even have more people to employ.
Stop playing catch up.
No, because even Cyril, what Cyril was even trying to say first, the healing is trying to talk about is, let's call the farmers, let's call the headers, let's now agree on, okay, fine, you have killed my brother, you have killed my sister, please heal that one first. That is where it's going to.
You know, they say, the old adage is, when you bury the hatchet, bury them with the handle. But with the bury hatchet, just leave the handle. No, gentlemen, but again, as is to report events and mold opinion, the government means well.
Yes.
So we, before we draw any line, let's give it time. Abi?
Exactly. Let's not
be truth.
Because there are some things that the government are doing that you can always say, okay, they have tried it here, they have tried there. So let's just give them a benefit of doubt. I like giving people benefit of doubt.
Asuko, two of us go give them this line. Good intention, no they hurt anybody.
Exactly.
We must draw the program to a close here, but not before thanking Cyril Abaku.
My pleasure,
very kindly. Asuko James.
Thank you so much for having me.
But don't forget, on Sunday, the program is on from 1:30 through 2:30. Don't forget that. All right, on behalf of the Backroom Boys here, we say thank you for watching. But if you missed this edition, join us at 11 for the late edition. And we're also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Citizen Jones. Bye-bye now. Take care.